Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF 44 coming at you with another video. So, I wanted to wake up this morning and do an early therapy session video. I don't feel as anxious as I had been these last few mornings, even though the same circumstances are in place. I think the first thing I wanted to do this morning, before I even got up and brushed my teeth, was check the mailbox. I'm just like, all right. I know that right now as I said yesterday, if you watch my video, I'm in a weird spot financially because although I have a couple shares still held over that I didn't, let go of the AMC. What I did do was deplete all of my funds that I was able to pick from all summer. So now that's down to like $100, and that's really all I can touch without finding myself doing some things that I really, really should not do financially for myself. For a plethora of reasons, I should not be touching that account right now. So to start picking from it, I know what that begets. And the thing about it is, I shouldn't have that issue because I checked the mailbox to see if there was an EDD check in there. Because of course we've talked about this. They have since not given me my benefits despite sending me qualifying letters and stuff like that, telling me I'm good. They essentially said they ran into a snag somewhere and they need to set up a telephone interview and to wait for some paperwork for the information on that interview. So I've seen that process before in the past. That's not surprising for me in terms of the process. I just haven't seen the paperwork. I have no idea what time this phone interview is supposed to come. And this has been the status for 4 weeks, according to this thing. This has been going on the entire time I've been qualified. So they're supposed to be sending me something saying that's on the table or not, and nothing. We're going on weeks and weeks and weeks of them sending me those qualifying paperwork. So I sent those in, and then I found out I didn't need to send those in, right? So I'm going online and I'm doing the qualifying offers online as well. The only response they've sent me is saying that the first qualifying offer was sent twice, because essentially I didn't really understand what was going on there in terms of, not needing to send it in paper-wise. I was actually literally getting stamps and all that. So I'm old school, man. I knew that they should have updated everything to make it so that we didn't have to mail everything. But as far as I'm concerned, they're still sending me paperwork. So I figured it was still the same way it was back in 2014 when I was last getting unemployment. But obviously things have changed some, and now that became an issue, I guess. Maybe sending it twice made it like, oh, he's trying to double pay. Let's snag him. I don't want to talk bad about my state, but it just seems like any little thing they can do to keep you from getting the benefits that they tell you is available to you, they'll do. This has been the situation with this state since I've been alive. They always will let the smallest thing stop you from giving you what it is that they have to pay out to you. But they're quick to collect. When it comes to like any traffic infractions and stuff like that, and you live in California, you understand that the whole state is basically built on them taking money from you in regards to your vehicle, literally. So that's that's another thing. And it's just like it gets to a point where it's like I'm dealing with that and the vehicle situation at the same time. So once I realized I didn't have nothing in the mailbox, ran into a great neighbor of mine who always helps me out. Every time I'm going through a real serious depression, he pops up like an angel and offers me a job situation. Now, the last time he offered me a job, I was coming out of a very deep depression, but I wasn't out of it yet. I took that job, had it for about 3 days, couldn't keep the job because my head was crazy, right? But like, I woke up this morning going outside to check the mailbox. It's like 6:30 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, right? I get my manic butt out there, and there he is coming through. When I'm checking the mailbox, looking there, seeing nothing devastating shit, he comes through. Hey, B, how you doing? Let me give you my number. I got a job for you. So it's like, okay, I don't take that for granted. That is a big time blessing. It's also something I wanted to document. Good guy by the name of Wilson here who always holds me down, man. I don't know him. Met him only a couple times, and when I do, he's always trying to get me a job opportunity. So it's happened more than once, and I just want to tell all you guys that I got a good angel on my side in here, man. Don't know him, but definitely appreciate him. So it's one of those situations where after I ran into Wilson, exchanged information with him, he gave me his info, all of that good stuff. Came back in the house, called the EDD, and it's still too early to get a response. So then turned my attention to the car situation. Car situation is a little different because they were supposed to call me 2 days ago, tell me the car was available to be picked up. And of course, as I said, California, cars. So in order to get your car back from repo, you got to first go to the police station and pay them like $15 and get like a slip, something that says it's okay for them to release the car to you at the place that you're going to get it from. From there, you take that slip to that place, give them your car. It shouldn't be nothing left to pay. and you just take your car home. That's how it went last time. So I'm hopeful that'll be the same case. It shouldn't take no more than 2 hours to get the whole thing done. About $100 being that I don't have a vehicle. So that means I got to go to the police station via either bus or Uber. And then I got to take an Uber all the way out to where that is, which is like another $40 trip. So that snags up almost half my money plus the $15 that's going to be paid to the police station, plus whatever the gas is going to be to get home from that hour drive or whatever it's going to be. So my money is going to be depleted automatically. Like, I don't have any money. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, okay, how the hell do I live? I'm down to like this much weed, maybe that much. Can't afford to re-up. Haven't had to deal with that in maybe like 2 years. I don't go dry, as you guys know, I'm sure, with all this damn snorting I do. Bad sinuses and a weed habit do not match, but I have one, so it is what it is. And it's rough, you know how it is when you have a situation where you don't have your meds, you know what I mean? And you're used to them. That's essentially what it is for me. I mean, if I'm not smoking weed, chances are I'm walking around the house looking for something. Because that's just all I do. Quite honestly, I talk to you guys. I deal with my art, rather, or enjoy my artwork and things that I do. And I smoke my weed and I talk my crap. Like, that's how I live. So to go without the weed right now when it's not deliberate, it's uncomfortable, to say the least. Pothead. So it gets to a point where it's like, all right, I'm looking around trying to deal with that aspect of my mentality. It's like the weed habit aspect, which I've been dealing with my whole life. It's like, oh God, I got to consider that it's actual bill as opposed to it being something you can just say, I don't want to deal with it. It's like, no, I equate that to my peace and being able to have tranquility in my head. So it is what it is. Now, I've gone 8-9 months without weed, right? I have, but it was a conscious decision. One that was something that I wanted to do. And it's much easier to knock those out as opposed to things that just come your way because you can't afford to pay for it. So believe it or not, as a trusty Los Angeles pothead, I am 100% stressing over my weed habit. But even more so, it's just like, I'm thankful that I have finally overcome the California snags of receiving my SNAP benefits. So I don't have to worry about groceries. And the only thing that was snagging me in regards to groceries in terms of cash is buying things that SNAP doesn't let you take care of, like stuff that isn't edible and things that aren't properly packaged. So even so, I will still need some cash in order to take care of certain things, but I'm not going to be reliant solely on the delivery of my groceries, which costs about $10 each time, because now I can actually take my vehicle to get my groceries once again. So that's going to be something that helps a little bit, I'd imagine. And so, just the decision to get my car has been very, very, very expensive. It's expensive. It's going to be expensive going forward. And that's another reason why I'm listening to Wilson in regards to going back to work. You guys know I don't ever want to put on another security uniform again, ever. But at this point in time, I also don't want to find myself stressing the way that I've been stressing over the last 6 months again. So something has to give. Can't have both. And it would be nice if that were the case, if I could, because, I feel like, as you guys already know, because I own AMC and have owned AMC for a while, I feel like I should be a damn millionaire. Cut and dry. I feel like, I think all apes feel that way, especially if you've been in this long as we have. It's like, we know what we own, we know why we own it, we know what the functionality of what it is that we're involved in and how things are supposed to work. We feel like we've already done the job. That's why I quit my job in the first place, cut and dry. It was a terrible decision, but it's God's honest truth. Because I was going through a lot at the job, and I had money that I was counting before actually receiving it. Biggest mistake a human being can make in this world, in my opinion, besides, a lot of other things. But one of the worst mistakes you can make is counting money that you don't have. Counting your eggs before they hatch and all of that good stuff. You just, it's a cautionary tale here. Don't do it. Because here I am rating on EDD, counting that money before it got here, making sure that I over-leverage myself entirely, solely waiting on something that hadn't arrived. And the same thing in regards to the AMC. I'm sitting there counting millions of dollars before it arrives, if it even arrives. And it's like, it's just not real. You can't hang your hat on hopes and dreams and unhatched eggs. You just have to be much more mature about yourself. And now I'm talking to myself when I say that. You have to be more mature. You cannot do this again. And there won't be an again to do this. I don't think you can survive this if you continue to do this. And so that's the message I have for Brandon in this camera. In the meantime, I want to encourage all you guys well, encourage is not the word. I want to reaffirm that what I think I'm doing in this camera is healthy, because even though it's oversharing, and that can be very dangerous depending on what's being said, I think it's therapeutic for me, and being that I don't have therapy in my life, I don't have anyone to kind of snap me out of this. It's a practice that I'm doing that effectively allows me to get all of this out, while still remaining secluded, being completely and utterly transparent while not having to deal with anyone at all. It's a sweet balance for me, believe it or not. So that's what I do, man. And why I say encourage, why I use the word encourage, is because I think more people should responsibly, if not just keep it to themselves, but make sure you get on camera or speak to someone or get whatever's inside of you out. I've been turning to art more these last 2 days, waking up, or not waking up, but coming to the conclusion that some of my time should be spent effectively taking the anxiety that I have and turning it into something creative. So now one of the practices I want to start doing is when I feel anxiety, to sit down, find a blank sheet of paper and a bunch of colors, and just start seeing what comes from those feelings. Because I've learned through watching other artists in various forms that when you're feeling the most, you can create the best. When you're feeling the most passionate stuff, that's when you can get the most out of yourself creatively. So I need to start tapping into that, not only as a means of therapy for myself, but also as a means of getting the most out of what I believe is my artistic gift. So all of that is coming together to make me understand just exactly how I want to handle myself going forward. And I don't think I would have gotten to this conclusion if I didn't go through this exact path of mistakes and over leveraging, and ultimately being depressed and finding myself with all that I've been dealing with. So in some very, very, very specific way, I am happy that I'm coming to these conclusions, that I'm going through what I'm going through. And I also feel the presence of favor. For those of you guys who believe in God, I feel the presence of favor. And the examples of Wilson, for example, who just keeps being someone who's there, who can come through and say, hey, I know how to get $1. Whenever you're ready to stop playing, I know how to get $1. To know that somebody like that is in the vicinity of my area, especially going through what I'm going through, I know that's a result of something greater than myself, I believe. For those who don't believe in God, these are the signs for those of us who do, to reaffirm that we're doing the right thing. Okay? These are the signs. Because I respect, this is the thing I want people to understand about me. And I was not raised necessarily to feel this way, but I do. I respect people who don't pray like me, because I do not have the answers. This is an entirely different conversation, but it's good for the therapy anyway. I love all different types of religions, people, as it pertains to just being in solidarity. I don't follow religion, so I don't know what you follow. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole just yet, although I would like to. Learn about Buddha, learn about Muslim faith, learn about all different types of faith. And, I respect people who don't believe in nothing. That's what I'm here to say. I do. I respect y'all, because none of us have any answers. All of us are trying to read tea leaves that'll help us understand a higher power, or follow men or women who can help us with that. I've always felt like I didn't need that bridge between myself and whatever that higher power is. Not to say that I knew who it was, although I know who I call on. I also believe that if I was calling the wrong name, whatever the entity would forgive me and know what my intention would be. You see what I'm saying? It's not like I'm gonna sit up here and say, God, your name is Jesus, when God has actually told me what his name is. My thing is, the God that my mother, who loved me and took care of me, that's who she praised, that's who she worshiped. And I watched time after time as she found strength, regardless if situations got better or worse. I watched time after time as circumstances such as the Wilson types of blessings would come into her life fortuitously on the clock in such a way where she needed it. And then seeing that continue in my life, those are the breadcrumbs that show us believers that there's something to what we're doing. So as I sit here and I say, I believe and I respect non-believers, just because both can exist at the same time. The presence of faith means that I do not know, and that I'm applying something that otherwise is not tangible. So if I believe in faith and I believe in the notion of something believing in me despite me not having information on it, then I have to know that it has information on me and will understand that I don't know it. Which means if Jesus exists and you don't know him, I believe if you met him, he'd reach out his hand, shake your hand and say, my name is Jesus, nice to meet you. You know what I mean? And I think the same about all of the greatest good energy figures that people speak on, you know, as people refer to, and that's how I go about energy. Because I've known too many Christian people that have been in the wrong. I've known, including myself in certain situations, I've known some great Muslim people who've been in the right. You know what I mean? Some of my best friends have been there for me. They don't pray like me. Some of them don't pray at all. You see what I'm saying? And I pray for them. They don't need to pray for themselves because they got a believer over here praying for them. But if I'm shunning them as a believer, then how good am I for them? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I subscribe to. Not to say that I'm right, because I don't have the answers either. And that's the point. Open-minded. Now, there's certain things that I can't subject myself to. My brain is not for everything. I'm a creative, so I can tell you, I can write you a script about certain things that I can't get with. I'll tell you right now, that I can't get with, that I can't, and it's fine. And there may be some things over here that I do that you may not be able to get with as well. But I think we got to be able to share the same earth, breathe the same air, and give each other space when necessary. And I think the best way to do that is to stand in solidarity, say maybe I don't understand what you're doing, or maybe I can't get with it, but that you're doing something and you don't have the answers, I'm doing something I don't have the answers. Hopefully we'll find our way. You know, that's all we can really do as human beings. And I think too many people try their best, try to funnel others in the direction that's best for them, thinking that the one direction is the only direction. If the only one direction was the only direction, there wouldn't be several directions. What is exists, and therefore we must react. We can try to mold our reality the way we want it to be, and that's fine. Many are able to. But the majority of us must live in the world we're in. And because of that, we got to find a way to live together. And so as I spoke last night, albeit misspeaking quite a bit, about, you know, some of the things the topics that I was speaking about in regards to that. You know, I wake up this morning and I'm on the same tip, you know, in a different way. It's the same thing. We just need to learn how to respect one another, not get so caught up in tribalism as it pertains to whether or not we're willing to be friends with someone else, you know, getting caught up in our different political things that ultimately wedge us away from one another and align us with people that don't actually have our best interests in mind at times. That's what I was speaking of last night, you know, and I wake up this morning and it's a parallel thought. You know, you just want to leave credence for what you don't know. Don't count your eggs before they hatch. And most importantly, understand that it's up upon all of us, all of our responsibility to coexist with one another. And if we continue to be at odds, there will be things that we both have to react to at the same time on the same side. And that's what I've learned. You know, when America went through 9/11, were people at odds, different things? Of course, always were. Then what? That occurred and everybody's huddling together, looking at this one thing like we versus them. And then when that situation subsides, we go back to at odds with one another. I just don't think that's sustainable going forward. I don't think that's a good way to go for us. And so that's why I preach the way that I do. And I do think it's preaching, so I hope y'all don't take it negatively. The negative connotation of someone preaching a lot of times is something that shuts people's minds off. You know, that's why I don't like using the word preach, even though this is preachy. What I want to do is share. What I want to do is receive as well. Unfortunately, I'm just not speaking to anyone, talking to you, but not with you. And that's unfortunate, because I would love to take something back. But at the same time, it's like, I'm only as I am. And I think at this moment, it's just most important for me to share what's in my heart. So that's what I'm doing. So that's what I wanted to do, man. Get up here, give you a therapy video, run my mouth a little bit. So to bring it on home, I'm waiting. 8 o'clock, I'm gonna make some phone calls. You know what I mean? Just to bring it on back to what we were talking about. I'm gonna get back on the job. I called the car people, left a message with them, let them know that I want to pick up my car and see what that process is about. If you know, and then I'll let them do their thing. I'm not gonna keep hounding them, and I'm gonna call EDD at 8 o'clock, which is about 25 minutes from now, 30 minutes from now, and try to see if they will submit some information to me on what it is that I'm waiting on, what exactly it is the holdup may be. Is it a tax thing? I don't know. My frustration with that is that I was an essential worker. That's my problem. I understand that there's always submitted information that could be either mistyped on my part or mistaken on theirs, or maybe I didn't put the right information in, maybe something went wrong, right? fine, cool. But did anyone at all in this state run into any snags when they were paying way more than people were making at their jobs for their unemployment while the pandemic struggle was taking place? When I was outside driving around, touching packages, subjecting myself to COVID during the height of the fear, I was in one of the most COVID exposed positions possible during the height of COVID. That's what I want to express to you guys. And if you go back and watch some of my old videos, I was doing videos on this channel then too, and I was talking. I was very much in a very frustrated space. This was during the height of some of the Black Lives Matter movement stuff, so I was all in my black man bag, and I hope I didn't offend nobody that I don't want to offend, but I spoke from my heart even back then, and I encourage everybody to go back and check that stuff out. And know that I have not. I have never gone back and looked at those old videos, but I remember some of them conversations were very, very thoughtful. And I definitely want to go back and revisit from summer 2020. No, March through summer, something like that. So I was at a place called The Shores. And what I did was, at a complex, apartment complex, I was delivering packages. They were having issues delivering packages, so they hired extra security guards to be package deliverers. As the package come in from Amazon, they needed somebody to take them to the various apartments. And that was my job. While COVID was running rampant, people were staying in the house fearing for their lives, I was touching packages from all over the world with my bare hands, delivering to strangers for $15 an hour every day. That's what I was doing. And I was hearing about people getting quit from job, getting fired, or walking away from jobs because of COVID, with having paid maybe $18 an hour, making the equivalent of like $23, $24 an hour from unemployment. Getting extensions, $300 extra extensions, $400 extra extensions, while I'm outside driving around on empty freeways, going to a job, exposing myself to COVID. All right? A choice I made. Nobody forced me to do it. It was a choice I made because I felt like, well, quite honestly, I didn't want to go through what I just went through right now. Finding myself in the house for an extended period of time, falling into depression. I knew this would happen. So that's why I didn't do it during the pandemic. I had a job with a company that I was working for, and they had switched me from one position to the next because as the COVID scare was going on, I was actually being reassigned from one post to the next. So that's why I didn't quit my job. I was in the mix of change, and I just stuck with it, man. I stuck with it while everybody else was doing the right thing, staying in the house, staying away from COVID. I was risking my life, if that's what it is. I was out there, you know what I mean? And I was proud of that. But now when I need unemployment, when I'm in this depressive state that I was running from, now I can't get $1 from the state. That's how y'all do the essentials? What's up? I can't get $1 now? Like, everybody got $1, but essentials. Now essentials got to run into snags when we have these issues. You know, I mean, I ain't going to sit up here and act a damn fool as it pertains to what this is, but as it pertains to, like, I look at the military. They went through this. So many generations of variations of this. Serving the country, going all the way hard, losing limbs and family and friends to the left and the right of them, being all traumatized, just to come home to not even be able to get a buck. Have to sit on the street with a sign after going that hard for the country. And you want me to be proud of this? That's another thing. Like, you know, I made a video yesterday that did not upload, but I was telling everybody similar stuff as I'm saying right now. You know, it's hard to be as proud, you know, of my flag and my country. You know, even though we talked about 9/11 in the same video, and God bless America for sure, but it's hard when I think about all these different things like this. And it's like, I know we ain't the best we can in certain areas, and it really does hurt. And to go through this in my little way as a civilian, I think about them and how they, all the different people that I've run into in Hollywood growing up, sitting on the street with signs in their hands saying I'm a vet. I did several tours. I did this war. I was in the war of this. I don't have a buck. Can you give me a buck? You know what I mean? Like, what? Now, since I've seen, you know, we've had some good programs, help the vets and stuff like that. It's gotten better, but it's just a point I should have never even seen that. That should have never happened. We got to honor people who do more than everybody else. Especially as it pertains to those who serve, risk their lives. Come on. They can't get a buck. So I just feel like this is along the same lines, even though it's much more serious on that end. But like, it takes me there. It makes me think like, this is sad, man. They quick to take something from you. They quick to force you to pay your taxes. They quick to force you into these jobs that know damn well that they're only there to make you, to deplete you of your energy and ultimately drain you till you have nothing left. Give you a little 401k that ain't gonna make no real money and send you on your way to bring in the next generation of people to do the same thing too. I mean, they know this is the cycle we're in. And for people like myself, we're trying our very best to assure that our children, or whoever comes after me, can have a better foundation than I had by sacrificing everything I'm going through right now financially so that I can invest my money in something that may give me a chance at generational wealth. It's a chance. And it's essentially illegal for me to do that, because every time I try to do that, I run into this, that, third. They want their money. They putting interest on that money. They putting a snag on that. They can give you your benefits. Now these people want this. Now you have to have insurance for that. If you don't have insurance for that, you gotta have a monthly bill for this. If you don't do that, they can't do. It's illegal for me to save money, enough money to make money. And that is what I found. That's what I've always known, but I'm in it now. You see what I'm saying? Finally got to a point where I'm actually in it. So for me, it's like, all right, well, just gotta keep pushing. Just gotta keep pushing. That's at the end of the day, I gotta get my mental health right so I can get back on the work train so that I can stop being in this space. Because whether or not going to work is degrading to the average person, we still have to do it, and that's just how I see it. I think it is degrading. If we're not doing what it is that we want to do, what we are meant to do, what comes organically and naturally to us, what our talents are entail, and we're just churning away for a company, I truly believe that is a trap that the average person is meant to be in. And it's just the whole notion that we must churn to eat, that we got to keep moving to eat. I challenge that. We've done a lot as people. The whole world has done a lot. Now, there's a lot of jobs that still need to be done, but I think those jobs can be done organically by people who are meant to do them. Even the McDonald's job, you're going to find a passionate cook who wants to flip a burger and will be the best at it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're going to find who will do what you need. I truly believe that. There's artists for every single subject on the planet. So with that being said, I don't think we'll have a shortage of what we need if we play people properly and we don't have these different snags forcing them into those positions if they're not supposed to actually be in those positions. That's what I believe. I think you have more than enough people who will be willing without being forced. So at this point, it's just like I challenge that. I do believe that people should be active, but the notion that we have to be attached to a corporation that pays us a wage or a salary, I just don't think that's the world we're in no more. I don't think we have to do that to eat. I think there's enough stuff around that we should be able to take. We got tech making trillions. What are we talking about? Tech's making trillions. Our country alone taxes everybody who makes anything. How do we not have no money? I'm just curious. They say that we're in trillions in debt. Well, is that why you're allowing Citadel to print money? Is that why we're in this situation where inflation is real? Even though crypto is real too, but we're not taking that into account for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know much about much, but there's a new variable in place in regards to this inflation thing. It's called crypto, but we're going to ignore that. Anyway, so at this point, I'm just like, hey, I'm tired, but I know I'm on the right track. I have to keep fighting against this thing in order to give myself and my family a chance at any generational wealth. Because if I go down the path they want me to go on, I'm going to be a worker until I go into the grave, and that'll be the end of my life. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. I think that's the way society's designed it for all of us, who are not able to effectively earn millions with various talents and opportunities that may come our way, as to which they can tax us percentages that'll make it worthwhile for them. We're slaves, man. We're slaves, not in the sense to disrespect my ancestors, but slaves in the sense that we don't have the freedom that we deserve. And this is one of the ways that I'm seeing that. And I try to just take a break away from that churning and that hard work that doesn't feed my soul. I run the snacks. I run the situations like this. So that's what I wanted to say, man. Tired of it, but I'm in it. I look forward to getting all this done. Hopefully I killed enough time to make my phone calls now. I thank y'all for putting up with this video. I don't blame you if you didn't watch the whole thing. Jeez, I don't even know if I will. But these are very helpful for myself. So my name is BDF 44, and I thank you all. Peace.